Do you remember back in school when we would play games against boys, beat them at their own game, and they'd react by getting angry, shoving us, lashing out, or even ending the friendship because they were too embarrassed to lose to a girl? What do you think is going to happen if Harris wins the presidential election this week? I typically don't speak directly to conservative or religious women, and I am speaking to all women because there are women who are married to conservatives that vote Democrat, but I'm speaking specifically to women who have spouses that are conservative. One of my mutuals, Cindy Noir, specifically spoke about how conservative and Christian women will be affected in their households, specifically the ones that are canceling out their husband or dad's vote. All of us women need to be prepared. When men witness a woman defeating a man on a stage as significant as a presidential race, there could be very strong reactions. We need to have a plan in place because intimate partner violence and domestic violence rates go up after football game loss. Super Bowl has an increased rate of DV violence after the loss of whoever loses the Super Bowl. And that's just football. We're talking about the leader of the free world here. We need to be careful and start thinking ahead of what's to come, and I've listed what you can do to keep yourself safe on the down low if things at home might get tense. If you have a friend or family member who's been isolated due to a controlling partner, this would be the time to reach out to them to let them know that you're here. Women who may face or are already facing domestic violence risks in households can take proactive steps to protect themselves, especially around times of heightened tension. So here are some things to consider. Create a safety plan. Things like escape routes. Know every way out of the house. Have a spot in mind like a friend, family, or neighbor's place where you can crash if you need to. And make sure it's nearby. Make sure you have some cash. Pack your to-go bag with essential items for you and the kids for a week if need be. If you've been planning to leave long-term already, this would be the time to do it before things have the potential to escalate even further. Number 2, arrange your secret support network. Rally your people. Tell your ride or dies what's up and set a code word or phrase. So if you ever text banana pancakes or whatever, they know it's go time and to check on you. As I mentioned before, this is the time to reconnect with all those people that you feel may have been pushed out of your life. Most likely, if you give them a call, they'll still be there for you. If you need them, it never hurts to try, and you'd probably be surprised that they're really happy to hear from you. A lot of people who have been isolated from their friends and family by domestic abuse are commonly shocked at how much people actually wanted them back in their lives after being away for so long. They were probably just worried about you and waiting for you to reach out. Number 3, secure important documents and essentials. Have your essentials ready to go. ID, medical info, a little cash, your keys, and your phone. Keep it all stashed in one place so you can grab it in a second if you need to. Also, take video or pictures of everything so that once you leave, they can't try to blame you for wrecking the house or damaging property, which is something they'll probably do. Only do this if you have enough time though. Number 4, limit alcohol or avoid situations that may escalate. Consider avoiding situations where alcohol is present or where you feel tensions may rise. Skip the drink rounds and maybe avoid those moments when emotions are running hot. A little avoidance goes a long way. 5, practice self-care and mental preparation. Take care of you, breathe, meditate, whatever helps you feel centered and clear-headed. Staying calm can be your superpower if things start to get intense. Number 6, use technology for added safety. Keep that phone charged and have emergency contacts saved right at the top. Look into those safety apps too, the ones that can alert people on the sly if you're not feeling safe. This would also be a good time to get your computers or any of your devices checked to see if they've downloaded any additional tracking or monitoring surveillance. Also, have a backup phone. If you can swing it, grab a cheap prepaid phone just in case. If your main phone's out of commission, a backup can be a lifesaver. So something like Cricket Mobile. Also, know your local resources. Find out where your local shelter is. Memorize the hotline numbers. These places are usually open 24/7 and they know exactly how to help. So yeah, having these little tricks in your back pocket can give you some peace of mind and make you feel ready for anything. So for everyone else, if you're wondering why you keep seeing ads that are like, hey women, your vote is your own business, it's because 1 out of every 4 women in the United States will experience some form of intimate partner violence at some point in her life. This includes physical, psychological, or sexual abuse by an intimate partner. Intimate partner violence affects millions of Americans every day. Domestic violence and sexual assault cannot be separated. Of those in physically abusive relationships, 45% of females and 29% of males experience forced sex by an intimate partner. We're talking stalking, physical violence, SA, etc. People don't end up in those relationships overnight. Nobody starts off laying their hands on somebody. All abuse starts with emotional abuse. Before that, there have to be weeks, months, even years worth of degradation, manipulation, psychological harm, the kind of stuff that breaks down somebody's spirit. Also known as the kind of stuff that makes it really, really easy to just tell someone who to vote for. These are the guys who tell you, oh, you better vote for so-and-so or else you're going to be in trouble. January 6th happened to Trump losing to Joe Biden, who's a man and a white man at that. What do you think is going to happen if the stakes are even higher? More than 25% of women in the United States are susceptible to the type of manipulation and control that makes it easy to manipulate the vote. The number is likely way higher, partially because DV cases are often underreported, but also because a lot of those psychological and emotionally abusive relationships are never reported. They never become physical, so people just don't report them. But they're still susceptible to that type of manipulation, control, and genuine fear when it comes to their vote. This is why it's actually very important for women to hear that their vote is private and will stay private so they can get in the booth. Vote for the person that they feel they need to vote for. Go out there and tell their husband whatever they need to hear without their lives and well-being being in danger. Every survivor's story is different. Abusers can assert power and control over survivors using a myriad of tactics, including intimidation, physical, psychological, and economic abuse, including threatening someone's children. During election years, intimate partner violence may materialize in different ways and can be exacerbated. The act of voting is itself a demonstration of power and something an abuser may seek to stifle or influence through violence or intimidation. This is particularly true in intimate partner relationships that adhere to strict patriarchal standards, where a wife or a female partner's desire to vote for a different candidate or policies than her male partner may be seen as a rebellion against patriarchal norms and a challenge to an individual's maleness. Sounds like that maleness is super fragile already to me. Writer Kylie Chung did a really interesting article in Miss Magazine. It's titled Domestic Abuse and Its Potential to Impact Elections. Home isn't a safe place to vote for everyone. Chung says that the first time that she thought about domestic violence and its potential impacts on elections was when she was reading an essay with shared anecdotes from campaign organizers and canvassers about wives answering the door only for their husbands to intervene and send them away. They said husbands answered the door and refused to let the wife speak to canvassers, or talked or shouted over her, or insisted that she was going to vote Republican even though she was a registered Democrat, or insisted there were no Democrats in the house because she had never told him she was one. A friend in Iowa told me, I asked the woman who answered the door if she had a plan for voting, and a man appeared behind her and said quite brusquely, I'm a Republican. Before I could reply, he shut the door in my face. Another friend reported, a woman I text in Michigan told me I'm not allowed to vote for the candidate. Many canvassers told me those experiences were common. If someone is willing to block their partner's access to political information in front of volunteers at their door, what else could they be doing behind that door? If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, you can get help. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE or 1-800-787-3224. You can also chat online at thehotline.org. Advocates are available 24/7 to provide support, resources, and information for anyone affected by abuse. All calls are free and confidential.